Okay, good morning. How are you, everyone? Are you okay? Okay, so we have finished the novella Heart of Darkness. We have learned the story. We have learned the historical background. We have learned the other issues related to Heart of Darkness. Today we are going to discuss the themes in Heart of Darkness. Actually, in novella, in short stories, we will have themes. We will have protagonist. We will have antagonist. We will have plot. We will have climax. We will have conclusion. Okay. So plot and narrative technique, these are related to the stylistic features of a novel or novella or short story. What is theme? Theme is the underlying message. Theme is the big idea. Theme is the ideological, philosophical thought of the writer that he wants to convey through the story or the plot of the novel or novella. It means that every novel, every novella, there is a story, but behind the story, beneath the story, we will have the message of the writer. That message or that big idea can be called themes. Okay? We have learned already that is Heart of Darkness is written by Joseph Conrad, and Joseph Conrad was an Ukrainian writer. Next time he learned English language. He visited many places of this world, and he had a fascination that he will be an adventurer of the ocean. Okay? And Marlowe, the character, he said that Marlowe also had a fascination for sea journey or sea adventure. In this way, we can call that there is a similarity between the likings and disliking of Marlowe and the writer Joseph Conrad. It is not directly said in the novel that Marlowe is the writer himself. It is not directly said in the novel. But we can assume that Marlowe had a fascination about sea journey, and our writer Joseph Conrad had a fascination about sea journey. And next of all, Marlowe had several sea journey, and also Marlowe went to Congo in his sea journey. In the same way, we have learned from Joseph Conrad's biography that Marlowe also went to Congo. So, in that perspective, we can say that Marlowe might be the photocopy of our writer Joseph Conrad. Okay. So, if it is said, or if the question says that you have to prove that there is a similarity between Marlowe and Joseph Conrad, you can prove by the similarities between Marlowe and Joseph Conrad. So there is a similarity between Marlowe and our writer Joseph Conrad. Another similarity is that Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness is famous for this theme. What is the theme? that is the imperialism. Imperialism, what does imperialism mean? Imperialism, that means the powerful countries of the world, they spread their colony all over the world. And imperialism, the word is from empire. Okay, empire means samrajya. So the Dutch, Portuguese, British, they extended their empire by extending their role towards the other parts of this world. In that case, that this imperialism will be the extension of powerful countries towards the other part of this world. Imperialism. And Heart of Darkness explores the issues surrounding imperialism in a complicated ways. Imperialism, that's good. Okay, imperialism, they want to, as I have said, that Elizabeth and the other powerful queens and kings of the world, they said whenever the waterways, when American continent was discovered, when Indian waterways, Europe to India, Vasco da Gama discovered the waterways, that means the adventure loving people of the powerful country, they went to the other parts. And what is their motive? To extend and to explore, to extend their empire and to explore the unexplored region of this world. And there is a motive of that. What is the motive? That means the European colonial power, the powerful countries, they thought that they are the earliest civilization. So in terms of knowledge, in terms of technology, in terms of civilizations, knowledge of civilization, they are forerunner. Forerunner means agrogami. Kara? European colonial country gulo, European powerful country gulo. তারা ভাবতো যে তারা সভ্যতা, শিক্ষা, টেকনোলজি সব দিক দিয়েই হচ্ছে আগিয়ে। এই জন্য তারা বলতো যে yes, we are the civilized civilization. And apart from the European countries, the other countries, they don't have much knowledge about technology, they don't have much knowledge about civilization, so they are inferior. They are inferior in terms of knowledge. So the European powerful countries or the civilization, they thought that it is their duty to help the other people who are lagging behind, যারা সভ্যতার আলো থেকে, টেকনোলজিক্যাল নলেজ থেকে বিভিন্ন দিক দিয়ে তারা হচ্ছে কি আছে, পিছিয়ে আছে। এজন্য তাদের দায়িত্ব হলো তাদেরকে সভ্যতার আলো দান করা, তাদেরকে টেকনোলজি এবং অন্য জায়গাগুলোতে হচ্ছে সাহায্য করা। It is their duty, they thought. Who thought? The powerful countries. They thought that they have to help them. And for this reason, there is a humanitarian background of the imperialism. Humanitarian background in which sense? That means they want to improve the condition of the people living the other parts of this world. Okay? So this is their motive. But behind their motive of helping others, they have a different motive. What is the motive? The motive to explore and to collect wealth. One motive is that to extend their country or empire, তাদের দেশের পরিধিটাকে বাড়িয়ে দাও। And all over the world, British had how many colonies? 55 colonies. Still in the Atlantic Ocean, there are 12 overseas territories. সেটাকে এখন তারা কলোনি বলছে না, এখনো সেখানে কি আছে, ব্রিটিশদের টেরিটরি আছে, সেটাকে বলছে তারা ওভারসিজ টেরিটরি। ওকে, So they had an intention. What is the intention? The intention was that was from humanitarian background. That means they will be the helping the people. আমার যদি কোনো মানুষ যদি সভ্যতার আরো থেকে পিছিয়ে থাকে তাহলে এটা তাদের দায়িত্ব হলো তাদেরকে সামনে নিয়ে আসা কিভাবে লেখাপড়া টেকনোলজি সমস্ত জিনিসগুলো দিয়ে সাহায্য করা। That means in the Indian subcontinent we have also nearly 200 years under the British law. Okay, and we can say that we have got many things. Actually, in 1835, in Indian subcontinent, first railway line was established in Indian subcontinent, and also the other. So the communication in case of the treatment, there are several superstitions all over the world, as we have seen in things fall apart. You have read things fall apart. There was a disease that is called leprosy. Leprosy was কুষ্ঠরোগ। কুষ্ঠরোগ হলে তারা কি করতো? কুষ্ঠরোগ হলে এই রোগীগুলোকে নিয়ে যায় গভীর জঙ্গলে রেখে আসতো। কেন? মনে করা হতো যে এদের মধ্যে হচ্ছে একটা উইচ অমিনাস সাইন আছে, এই জন্য তাদেরকে নিয়ে যায় কোথায় রেখে আসতো? বনের জঙ্গলে, এবং সেখানে তারা মারা যেত। শুধুমাত্র কুষ্ঠরোগী না, যদি কুইন বেবি হতো তাহলেও তাদেরকে কোথায় নিয়ে যায় রাখা হতো? British colonial power came and they introduced hospital. What they do? Hospital. Hospital of what? Leprosy. কুষ্ঠরোগের যে চিকিৎসা আছে সেটা আগে মানুষ জানতো না। They came here to help the people and they introduced hospital. After that, they are getting wealth, just like in Heart of Darkness they are collecting ivory and rubber. In Indian subcontinent, especially Singapore, Malaysia and other part, they have been collecting spice বিভিন্ন ধরনের মশলা। Okay, so the different parts were famous for different commodities, especially the different natural resources. That natural resources was snatched, and that natural resources was taken by the colonial power, and they had a business motive. First time when they came here for the cause of the humanitarian background. That means we have come here to help you, and for this reason they introduced hospital. Next time they thought that actually we can be the ruler of this country. Yeah, first time they came and their motive was that yes, I will be helping them, in return we will be getting some resources. Okay, then they thought that we should be the power, that means we will be ruling this country. And when they thought, they introduced, and they thought, that means our language is different, and the country they are ruling or doing business, their language is different. So what should be done at first? They thought that in order to rule them easily, we have to teach our language to them. And for this reason they established schools. And in that school, they introduced their literature. Why? The motive is that you don't know how to read and write. তোমরা লেখাপড়া জানো না, তোমাদেরকে কি দিচ্ছি আমরা? শিক্ষার আলোকে। That is their motive, to help the people of other countries. But behind them, another motive is that it would be easy if anybody learns others' language to rule them. And as you have said that in the Tempest এখনো পড়েনি আপনারা? Tempest-এ ট্যালিবানকে তার যে ভাষা শেখালো, ট্যালিবান বললো যে তুমি আমাকে ভাষা শিখিয়েছো, I have learned how to curse you. But Prospero বললো যে I have teach you long language. You are illiterate. You do not know how to communicate with the people. I taught you language. Okay. But Caliban is a deformed creature. Okay. She said, yeah, you taught me language that I have learned how to curse you. Okay. So they said that their motive is to help human beings who are away from the light of civilization, from the light of treatment, from the light of education, from the knowledge of technology. And after that, gradually they started doing business. They established hospital and they established educational institution. And behind these, they had an intention to rule the country. And that term, that means in colonialism, it is called otherness. Otherness, that means the European powerful countries, they call them we. And except them, the people living in the other parts of this world, they call them other. So it is not the difference of word, that means we and they or other. But it is the difference that they think that they are civilized person. Civilized in which sense? They know much technology, they have knowledge of civilization, and the other people, they know not as much as they know. Okay? So they are superior. Who are the superior? They thought that they are the superior. And the other people living in the other parts of the world, that means Africa, Congo, Asia, and the other part, they think that they are the inferior. Okay? And that is called colonial otherness. And in case of imperialism, the title is the hypocrisy of imperialism. Hypocrisy, that means to tell a different thing, to say one thing and to do another thing. Okay, kaporota. Okay, so they had an intention that they will be helping the other people, but behind their humanitarian background, they had another issue, that means to collect the wealth and to collect the resources and to rule the country. Okay, and for this reason, the hypocrisy of imperialism is one of the themes in the novella Heart of Darkness. As Marlowe travels from the outer station to the central station and finally up the river of the inner station, he encounters scenes of torture. যদি কাউকে সাহায্যই করতে আসেন তাহলে তাদেরকে তো টর্চার করার দরকার নেই, দরকার আছে? But in Heart of Darkness, when Marlowe was approaching from the outer station to the inner station, he had found torture, cruelty, and near slavery. Near slavery, you know, slavery, that means giving a minimum wages and employ them to hard labor. Okay, so Marlowe found slavery, cruelty, torture towards the native people. Okay, and what? In which way? At the very least, the incidental scenery of the book offers a harsh picture of colonial enterprise. So, as we have seen, that the colonialism, what can be the colonialism? Colonialism will be the domination by the powerful country towards the less powerful country. So that is the harsh reality of colonialism. And the impetus behind Marlowe's adventures too has to do with the hypocrisy inherent in the rhetoric used to justify imperialism. Okay, and the man who worked for the company describes that they do as trade, and their treatment of the native Africans as a part of their benevolent project of civilization. So the imperial power, they said that they are doing some benevolent activities, and actually they are doing business, but under the title of business or under the title of trade, they are showing cruelty, they are showing slavery, they are showing torture to the native people. So that is the hypocrisy of and the example is Cars. Cars, on the other hand, is open about the fact that he does not trade but rather takes ivory by force, and he describes his own treatment of the natives with the words suppression and extermination. He does not hide the fact that he rose through violence and intimidation. Okay, Cars didn't have such kind of hypocrisy. Cars বললো যে আসলে আমি তাদের কাছে ডেমি গড হয়েছে, ইটস মাই ডিউটি টু কালেক্ট দ্য আইভরি, সো আমি তাদেরকে ভয় দেখিয়েছি, তাদের কাছ থেকে হচ্ছে কি করেছি, আমি সম্পদ অর্জন করেছি। That is my business and I did it and he cursed, put the human head on the pole before the station just to intimidate them, just to make the native peoples afraid. Okay, everybody feels afraid for his or her own life. Okay, so curse, when curse would kill a native people, it would give a message to the native people that curse is a cruel person. If you do not follow the order of the curse, that you will immediately be killed without any notice. So that is the issue, the curse established in heart of darkness. And curse might be the miniature form of all colonial power of this world. So the countries dominated by the powerful countries, they did the same thing as Kart did in Congo. Okay, but their motive is, the motive is to do business, the motive is to do or to help the human being living in the other parts of this world. His perverse honesty leads to downfall, and his success threatens to explore the evil practices behind European activity in Africa. So Kart became the representative of European colonial power. So not only the one curse, it is, we can generalize that the same thing happened all parts of the world where colonial countries had been dominating. Some other examples are there. Okay, Marlowe refers to his helmsman as a piece of machinery, and Kart's African mistress is at best a piece of statuary, statue, just like a statue. Okay, that means Kart's mistress had been following the order of Karts. That means Kart's mistress was an African. She had her culture, she had her language. Still, Kart's mistress was very much obedient to Karts. Why? Actually, Kart's mistress didn't have her own voice. For what? That means Kart's mistress got intimidated by Kart's cruelty. And that happened in the other parts. And it can be argued that Heart of Darkness participated in an oppression of non-white that is much more sinister and much harder to remedy than open abuses of Karts to the company's man. Okay, so there is an analogy over here. Okay, that means still Karts did it directly, but the company's people, their intention was different and they are doing the different thing. The intention, that means we have come here to help you, and we are doing the other thing, the company's people. Okay, so such kind of analogy, if you can make an analogy, that is the related theme, the negligence of the British colonial government in phosphor of access to India. In this course we have also that text, we will be dealing that. So the theme, hypocrisy of imperialism, what does it mean? It means that the imperial power, they had an intention and they had a declaration that we have come here to help you. But under the declaration of their benevolent project, they had been torturing the natives, they had been showing cruelty to the natives just to rule the country and just to accumulate wealth from the natives or from that country they are ruling. That can be called the hypocrisy of imperialism. We can also call it the hypocrisy of colonialism. So the colonialism and imperialism, you can write these two terms explaining the things that they are doing different things what they were intended to do in the colonial countries. Another related to another that is madness as a result of imperialism. Okay, one of another theme that is we have discussed most probably in the first or second class, that is the human greed. Okay, human being is the noblest creation of Almighty, and it is told in every religion. Okay, manush dhoro manush bhojo shon boli re pagol mon মানুষ বুঝলে সবকিছু। That means in the human being is attributed to the all noblest qualities we have because we have conscience. Okay, conscience. What conscience will do? Conscience will help you what should be done and what should not be. Okay, but whenever human being will fall in trap of greed. Okay, in case of Christianity, there are 7 deadly sins. Okay, one of them is greed. Okay, another adultery, other telling lie. Okay, so whenever human being will fall in trap of greed, then all noblest quality will be demolished from this creature, that is the human being. And this we have seen, that is what we have seen nowadays in the 21st century. We have a mania all over the world, just like American dream, that we have to accumulate wealth. We have to accumulate wealth. We don't know, we don't care what is the way we are doing this. Okay, so at the time of the imperialism, when the imperial power, that the company man went to Congo, they had their intention good, but whenever they were getting the greed of accumulated wealth, okay, so they were falling in trap of greed, and that is called the madness. We have seen one character. Whenever Marlowe was going from the outer central station to the inner station, we have seen a white man. The white man, he is a drunken white man. The man, what did he say? He said that actually I am supervising a dead body. What dead body? That means a native was killed by the white man and he is supervising. That white man, why did he go to Congo? He is not the company's man. He went to Congo to accumulate wealth in whatever may be the way. That means for the human greed, the white people went to Congo, and for this greed, he became mad. Mad in which sense? That means he became a maniac, or he had a mania that he had to collect. And same things had been happening to Kurds. Kurds was in a position to die any time. Still, he doesn't want to leave Congo. Why? Actually, Congo had 2 kinds of greed. One greed, that is power. Another greed is wealth. Whenever you will see, that means in case of power, that is very common to a human being. Naturally, we can't generalize, but it happens frequently. Okay? Whenever a human being will get power, he will tolerate nothing. Whenever he will have wealth, that means yesterday I was going to my home at the time. One car going in a speedy run. At the time, a person got his dress dirty for the water coming from the car's wheel. তো বললেন যে আপনি গাড়ি চালাচ্ছেন, দেখবেন না যে এখানে আমার গায়ে কাপড়গুলো সব ভিজে গেল। তো তখন বলছে, ওই গাড়ির ড্রাইভার বলছে যে বৃষ্টি হচ্ছে তো কিছু বোঝা যাচ্ছে না। তো ওই মানুষের উত্তরটা ছিল, যে পথচারী, তার উত্তরটা ছিল যে হচ্ছে গাড়িতে চড়লে আর যারা রাস্তায় হাঁটে তাদেরকে তো আর মানুষ মনে করেন না। But it shouldn't be generalized. অনেক ভালো মানুষও আছে, but naturally it seen frequently that whenever a person will get the test of power and also the test of wealth, then his greed or her greed of power and money will demolish his consciousness. বিবেক বিবশ হলেই বাঁচি। আমি কুকুরের পার কাছে বসে থাকি, ওর ভিতরের কুকুরটাকে দেখব। So, in case of whenever human being will be getting in touch of human greed, then The natural consciousness will demolish. And as we have seen in case of cars, and as we have seen another character in Heart of Darkness. So that is the madness in imperialism. Madness in imperialism, that means the imperial power, that means the powerful countries of Europe, they got the test of power, they got the test of wealth, and they got the test of spreading their empire. And for this reason, they were apparently seen a sane person. Sane mane ki? Bhalo manush. But generally they are insane. That means they are the maniac. That means they had the mania of power and wealth. And that can be the madness in another thing, absurdity of evil. The novella, above all, an exploration of hypocrisy, ambiguity, and moral confusion. Hypocrisy we have understood. Okay, this novella. What is the hypocrisy? That means colonial power. They try to do different thing, but they are doing the different thing. That is the hypocrisy. And ambiguity. Ambiguity. That means oisposhtota. That was not told directly. That what was going on over there. Okay. Why? Why so many people who had been living over there? Okay. And what is the message? What is the meaning of the last words Card told to Marlowe? He said that is, I wanted to do much for Congo. Cards বলছে যে আমি কঙ্গোর জন্য অনেক কিছু করতে চেয়েছিলাম। কি করতে চেয়েছিলেন? There is no explanation in this novel. And the last two words, the horror, the horror. What does the horror mean? Who are in the horror situation? Is this the native, or is this the colonial power? Who were in the most horror situation? So there is an ambiguity. Okay, but in case of answering the question, or in case of researching, you can put the word horror in your explanation, giving evidence from others. So ambiguity is there in case of Heart of Darkness. And the moral confusion. Moral confusion of what? What should be done and what shouldn't be done. Naturally we have heard that Cars was a genius, universal genius. তার যে ফিয়ন্সে ছিল ইউকেতে, যখন আমরা পরে নোভেলের শেষে জানতে পারলাম তার ফিয়ন্সে, এবং সে বলল যে the Cars has a quality that he could electrify alerts population with his speech. Electrify, you know, if anybody got touch on electricity, what he will do? He will not move. He will not move. Okay, just a statue like the apparition will be. কারো কারেন্টের শক লাগলে কি হয়? সেই স্ট্যাচুর মতো হয়ে যায় না? হাজার হাজার লাখ লাখ জনগণ যদি থাকে, সেখানে যদি কার্স বক্তৃতা করত, মনে হতো যে হাজার হাজার লাখ লাখ মানুষ ইলেকট্রিফাইড হয়ে গেছে এবং তারা মনোমুগ্ধের মতো তার কথা শুনছে। দ্যাট ইজ কল্ড দ্য রেটোরিক। দ্য বাংলাদেশে ছিল শেরে বাংলায় কে ফজলুল হক, তার স্পিচ কোয়ালিটি ছিল। সো Cars was an universal genius. Okay, but that Cars, and not only that, it was also added that if Cars would stay in UK, then he could be the important person of any political parties there. Okay, but whenever this Cars went to Congo, this Cars got in moral confusion, and with the help of his universal genius, he became a demigod to the native. Demigod to the native. And he became the man who had tortured the natives, who had slaved, and who had actually, whenever Marlowe's steamboat was approaching towards the inner station, there was many arrows came towards the steamboat, and that was done by the natives. এই নেটিভরা হচ্ছে মার্লোর স্টিমবোটে কি অ্যাটাক করেছিল। নেক্সট টাইম উই ইনফর্ম দ্যাট অ্যাকচুয়ালি Cars made that attack happen. Why? Cars is not ready to leave the station. So this man, that means Kurtz, a universal genius, he fall trapped in greed and power, and for this reason he did everything. So that is the moral confusion of the protagonist, that is the Kurtz in Heart of Darkness. And you can also have another analogy over here, that is the irrationality of the universe in Albert Camus' The Stranger. Apnara stranger or outsider পড়েছেন? You can make an analogy over there. That is the moral confusion. Okay. So most probably we are in the last portion. That is another theme of this novella. That is the futility. What is the Bengali meaning of futility? Futility মানে কি? অনুর্বরতা মানে অর্থহীনতা। Okay? Futility মানে কি? অর্থহীনতা। Meaningless. So several images through the Heart of Darkness suggest the futility of European presence in Africa. Okay? And but at the very beginning we have said that there are some warship in the Heart of Darkness. We have noticed a warship. সেখানে কিছু যুদ্ধজাহাজ আছে এবং সেই যুদ্ধজাহাজগুলি গুলি করছে what? Without any destination. গুলি ফাঁকা গুলি। What is the necessity of so the warship is being fired on the without any fixed destination. Another image appears later at the central station when Marlowe watches the frantic European pointlessly attempted to extinguish a burning grass hut. Another European, he is getting the extinguishing gas towards a hut made of grass. ঘাস দিয়ে একটা কুঠি, সেই কুঠিটাকে সে জ্বালিয়ে দিচ্ছে। What is the intention? We don't know. Actually, in addition to this innocent and useless action, Marlowe takes note to the pointless labor practices in the company station. Okay, the labor actually they are doing a thing. There are several boulders, you know, বড় বড় পাথরের গুলি। সেই গুলিগুলো কেন নিয়ে আসা হয়েছে? অনেক লেবার, নেটিভ লেবার এগুলোকে কি করছে? এখানে জমা করছে, এক জায়গা থেকে আরেক জায়গায় নিয়ে যাচ্ছে। Why? They want to establish railroad. তারা রেলরোড সেখানে স্থাপন করছে। কিন্তু actually there he observes white European forcing African to blast a hole through a cliff for no apparent reason. একটা পাহাড়ের গর্তে অনেক নেটিভকে লেগে দিচ্ছে, হচ্ছে সেখানে কি করো? গর্ত করো। What is the reason? Reason is that he also nearly falls into the random hole in the ground to save laborers dark. ফুটতে বলছে কেন? What is the motive? The motive is that Marlowe speculates that the hole was no purpose then other than to occupy the slaves. আমাদের দেশে একটা কথা আছে না, কাজ নাই তো খই ভাস। খইয়েরও তো অনেক গুরুত্ব আছে। শুধুমাত্র just in order to occupy the laborers, that means the native laborers, they are standing over here, what they are supposed to do? Ask the laborer to start making hole in the cliffs. Okay? So that is, and it might have been connected with the philanthropic desire of the giving the criminal something to do. Okay. Another thing, what is that? It might have been connected with the philanthropic desire. So if criminals remain free, the criminals will be doing the criminal activities. So if you are engaged in an action, if the criminals are engaged in an action, then they will be busy. So the native people at the time, the native people of Africa and Congo were treated as criminals. And for this reason, they were given the work that they should be busy in doing something. Okay, so that is also the colonial role. That means the colonial people, the powerful countries, the European people had been in Congo. They thought that the colonia, they are the civilized person and the natives are the criminals. Okay, so criminal should be involved in some activities. Okay, and for this reason, under their philanthropic mission, they had a desire to occupy the laborers, that means the native, in some activities. What is the activities? The activities without no purpose. গর্ত করছে, কোনো কাজ নেই। ব্রেক মেকার কখনো একটাও কোনো ব্রেক তৈরি করে নেই। But what was their intention? That they will be making bricks and they will be making roads that would be easier for them to pass from one place to another, and they had been doing. Okay? And as the examples of the worship and the grass hut and the grossly inefficient labor practices at the company station suggest the pointlessness of the European mission in Africa. So European mission in Africa was pointed to do philanthropic activities, but that philanthropic activities was pointed to nothingness, and that is called the futility in European mission in Africa. Okay, so you can have an analogy with this theme, that is the Brian's the things they carried. Okay, you can make an analogy with this text. Okay, and something should be added, as we have said already, that is the hypocrisy, the contradiction and ambivalence, that is quite similar to hypocrisy and contradiction. Okay, ambivalence, that means the so these are the themes. And hollowness can also be compared with the futility. That means the European people were supposed to do many things, but that things were aimed at nothing, and that is the hollowness of imperialism. That is the hollowness, that is the futility of colonialism happened in heart of darkness. So thank you very much. These are the themes of any question.